Hey, I'm Guy.
I'm John.
This is our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. Give this video a like.
Check out the pod also below in the description.
We appreciate that. Is this a low point for the Kyle Shanahan 49ers getting blown out by the Dolphins?
Uh, I
In a
think if you give them a
meaningful
little
in a
bit,
year where they played meaningful football games?
I think if you give them a little bit of pass that first couple years when even their losses, they weren't favorites. Guy, they were an 8-point favorite, and we
At
were
home.
almost put some cash on the game. Luckily, we didn't. Yeah, 8-point favorites at home, coming off a loss to a team that's 1-3. And I
Getting
texted
healthy.
a buddy.
Or,
Yeah, I texted a buddy in the league. I'm like, what do you think about the Dolphins? He said they stink. And I watched them today, and I was like, I don't know if they stink or just the Niners stink. Like, that's a pretty big indictment. Because they're not that great. To me, to roll out, I get you have injuries. Every team in the league does. But today, they left that guy, Jared Allen's cousin, Billy Allen, Bruce Allen. I don't ever want to see him again. I think it's fair to say he had the worst. He might be the worst player in Niner history. He'd be up there. To me, to leave him out there,
Brian.
over
and over
again, and then to end the half against Devontae Parker. Listen, I would say Devontae Parker's one of those like high first round picks, right? That didn't live up to be like an Amari, definitely not like a Julio or whatever. But he's by no means been like a
He's
Kevin
not Kevin White. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like.
Who, by the way, thanks for that performance today.
Yeah, way to run the ball out of the end zone and get to the 7, and like somehow fall to the 10. What the fuck are you doing? But I think when Devontae Parker, who I think it's fair to say the last couple of years kind of resurrected his career, like I just playing fantasy, watching their box scores, the guy makes some plays. He had to be thinking like, wait, you're going to, at the end of the half, we're already kicking your ass. They put him out there one-on-one. And listen, I get Sherman's big thing. We do what we do. I'm all for do what we do when the horses are in there. In that situation, I thought that final play at the end of the half, that touchdown, where he like
John,
opens up his hips.
If only that was the final play of the half, but a lot happened after that.
Did you not think that was like the most embarrassing play of the game in that
Did
situation?
you see my text before the play happened?
Well, because what were they at the 5-yard line? They got a 10. Well,
they got a tripping penalty.
So they went to like the 18 or 15 or
then
whatever.
Kerry Hyder gets a sack. So it's third and
that's
goal.
why they were even farther back.
Yeah, so it's third and goal from almost the 20. And I texted you and I said, I would rather this play be at the 5 than the 20 because this is too much room for Brian Allen to be on an island.
I agree. And what did you say about his island? Smaller than
his island is bigger than the one they filmed Castaway on.
But you agree, like, from that just basic football. If I say, Guy, you're in this situation, this is the only guy you got to throw out there. Wouldn't you go like, hey, Jimmy Ward or Kwaski Tart, just go over there with him and just double team the guy?
Or just one of you. How about one of you guys do it instead? And he wasn't the only guy because Akilla Witherspoon came into the game later.
True, you're right. But wouldn't you double team that position?
I would just replace him with somebody else in that spot. But yeah, anything especially on third and goal.
You
they're going
leave him by himself. Like,
when they have to go to the end zone on third and goal.
Are you guys just waving the white flag? Like, what the fuck are we doing? To me, that was the most embarrassing moment. That point, like for Jimmy's flaws and everything, that was the low point of just like, listen, I do feel sometimes because I thought like. The narrative is like, you can't bench Jimmy Garoppolo. Why? Because the media is going to question. Who gives a shit what the media says, right? Or the fans are going to be mad. Who cares? Like, I think sometimes that stuff gets overblown. Like, the players know. There has to be a couple. Like, if you're Eric Armstead or Fred Warner and you're playing really hard and you go, wait, we're just going to leave this guy in man-to-man coverage against their best wide receiver? Like, clearly, their number one wide receiver and Ryan Fitzpatrick. Guy, he just ran straight. Like, I wouldn't even call it a go route. He's just like, wait, you're just not going to run? I'm faster than you. He just opened up his hips, like kind of Olayed him. It was like, what the fuck is going on?
Especially when the Dolphins made it perfectly clear from first down of their first drive who they were going at.
It's rare you see an offensive coordinator be that consistent with a liability.
Well,
like it was just
we're
not even going to do anything else. We're just going to go there.
Are you going to protect your neck, or am I just going to keep popping you in the thorax? Or wait, that's the thorax?
Esophagus.
Yeah,
caramel apple, Eli apple.
They made it so clear immediately that they were going to go at him, and then you look up. The field is when he's out there on an island, 40 yards wide. There were many moments in the game, and Jimmy being bad was the headline of the game, right? But every time they needed a stop. Maybe they got one. They needed. It wasn't just that they were one of whatever it felt like a million on third down without penalties.
Guy, I couldn't even take the second half. I couldn't take the second half seriously after that play. I was like, I can't take this game seriously.
It's 14-7 at that point, and they've made it clear who they think your weakness is, and it's clear to everybody that they're right. And you do have a Kello, and you do have other. Now look, one thing I thought watching this game was, and we've been saying it for weeks, and anyone who watches it can say it. Yeah, they missed Bosa. And yeah, they really miss Sherman. They miss both those guys a lot. And credit to, I do think they play hard on defense up front, but the quarterbacks just evade a lot of sacks that I think exist if Bosa's on the field. But that's nothing you can do about it. But you got to have, because here's the thing, like the Dolphins might be bad, but they're not the Jets or the Giants, and I think we knew that much. I'm not saying I thought anything close to this was going to happen. But we talked about, like, they made it look a little closer than it really was, but it was a score game with Seattle. They had the Bills. They played the Bills point for point, basically. They beat the shit out of the Chargers, which is what you're supposed to do.
I just think it's fair to say they're a well-coached team, right?
Well-coached, and Fitzpatrick, clearly, when he's on, right?
Yeah. And he's on a little heater right now.
He's
on a little heater.
Part of it was that he was playing a guy off your practice squad at cornerback.
To me, but like the practice squad guy in this sport
should be better than that.
Well, just sometimes gets thrust into action, and you never truly know till you watch the game. And sometimes it happens like the guy is unplayable. Like that's not unheard of. I've seen it before when I worked in the league. When you just watch other games, you just see a guy like you just got to yank him out because it's not like you only dress 2 DBs. You dress like 5. You just got to. The moment he gets smoked like 3 times, you got to put another guy in there. You have to. To leave him, though, in that situation and to either not have him, like, have help or put another guy out there was just, like, that crossed the line of we do what we do and, like, you guys are fucking – Robert, you don't expect another interview. Like, that's a low point in your career. Like, that's like, is he getting another – like, that to me is, like, if you're football people, what is this guy doing? You know, what is this guy doing? I thought it was – Jimmy's going to be the headline because he got replaced. He's the quarterback. Today was a Robert Saleh just looked kind of lost. And I'm not judging him for Brian Allen. Like that guy, they're down like 7 corners. He starts the game. He even gets smoked early. Okay, shit happened. Yank him out. You're yanking the quarterback out. You yank other players out. What took so long?
You've yanked
you're
corners
wait for
before,
5 touchdowns?
Right? We've talked about this with the Keller
playoff
last year.
Games. I don't listen. I think we're all agree Keller Witherspoon won't be on this team after this year. His worst day, he's better than this guy. You know, just throw him out there. Like that was, I couldn't take the game seriously anymore. I thought, like, are they tanking?
Well, I don't want to say that's, I mean, I do think if we were to identify the primary reasons they lost, I'd put that number 1 actually above Jimmy. Because, because some of the mistakes that came.
I'm talking the storylines of the game.
No, I know you are. I'm just saying. To me, the number 1 reason they lost that game was their defense, not Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah. Well, like you said, they gave up 65 points.
the mistakes Jimmy made, the bad throws he made at the end of the first half, like they were forced into doing something differently than the way they wanted to play. Every time Mostert gets the ball, he's running 87 miles an hour. It looks like, right? He goes 0 to 60 in a heartbeat.
He's good.
And maybe even if they were better on defense, they still lose the game because of how Jimmy was. But to me, the number 1 thing, the first reason they were in that spot was that their defense could not stop Miami's offense at all.
I'm telling you, guy, when I look at the score and see 43, it feels low. It really does. Now, they held them a couple field goals because it felt like every drive, moving. Early, that first half with ease, right? I mean, getting down. It was a clinic on moving the football. And then they even did a little thing during the game. It's like, Chan Gailey out of retirement, 68 years old. It's one thing if, let's say, Miami had they hired Joe Brady this offseason. You'd be like, well, they just got this hotshot OC. I get it. Guy out of retirement that's been kind of people laughed at him. Like,
it's going better than it's going for Mike Nolan out of retirement.
And Fitzpatrick? To me, that's where it's just like you let Chan Gailey and Ryan Fitzpatrick bend you over and consistently be like, are you guys serious? Like, no, you're not going to leave that. You're going to leave him? No.
Well, the reason
they clowned him.
Jason Sanders, John, was 5 of 5 field goals today. So they were in scoring position even more than the score indicated. You're right. And again, there are a lot of reasons you could have lost this game, but to get blown out like that and to be in that position, to be down 30-7 at the half, that's part of what made it feel right. It's 30-7 at halftime.
That's wild. Did you think when they went, it was like 3rd and 27, the dude gets 25.5 yards.
When they go for the
and
fourth
they
down.
call in the punt unit?
Yeah.
Did you think he was going to run a fake punt there, or did you just think he's like, I'm killing him,
I thought,
might as well?
Yeah, I thought something was up because the play ends right on their sideline, and all the guys start running out, and they're doing like this X. But if you go back and watch them, did you notice how fast everyone was sprinting off the sideline?
They hauled ass. Yeah, they got out there.
And they were all doing
Usually
some
punt
secret
team
signal.
Takes their time because everyone's like, punt team, you know?
To me, the how fast they ran on the field made me think I might use a timeout here. Something's up. The problem is,
I thought it was well executed by them.
It was really
boom,
well
boom,
done.
Bang.
And like you said, the first problem was you gave up 26 yards on 3rd and 27 or whatever.
God, it was 3rd and 27, and even Schlereth was like, God, he had a hell of a play there just to get him out of bounds. 3rd and 27.
I know.
That was a. We're not talking the first 2 years anymore, Robert. You're interviewing for head coaching jobs. You get looked at a little differently. Embarrassing effort. I mean, defensive coordinators around the league get shit on. Like that was just now back-to-back games. To me, though, like you go back, what kept giving how did this guy for the Eagles become a legend? Fulham? I don't even know how to say his name.
Fulham. Everyone told me the G's silent. Maybe he's great.
Fulham.
Maybe he's just great with a capital G.
Well, he might be good, but what do you think that they saw last year or last week? Whoever Jason Verrett or the other starting corner is not on, just throw go routes. It's stealing candy from a baby. It's like every time what's basketball back in the day, like in the NBA, mouse in the house. And get a small guy. It's what they're doing, mouse in the house. But it's actually easier because you still got to do moves when your back's to the basket. If your wide receiver is good and he's just running straight and the guy can't run with him, it's easier than the mouse in the house back to the basket, right? You just got to hit him because he's going to be open.
How many? I mean, yeah. All right. So the schedule coming up.
I think Devontae Parker might actually be good. He's kind of growing on me.
He might be.
He might resurrect his career.
I mean,
I'm kind of happy.
I don't know if Tua's going to get on the field this year.
What did Devontae do today? Maybe it wasn't as great as I thought. 2 catches, 50 yards. If I would have guessed like 6 catches for 180.
So here's what you got coming up. You got this Sean McVay guy. Then you got this Josh McDaniels guy. And maybe, in theory, you'll play the Patriots in 2 weeks. Then you got Seattle. I don't know if you heard what they got going on. They got this Russ guy. Then you got Green Bay. They got this Aaron Rodgers guy. Then you got New Orleans, who Michael Thomas has got in a fight or got mad or being benched. I don't know.
I think he punched the guy. Yeah.
Then you got McVay again because you hurt. You need a bye, but you don't get a bye till the week before Thanksgiving. That's a long way away. Then you got Josh Allen. I don't know if you heard of him. There are only a couple of offenses you look at the schedule that go, I don't think they can slice and dice us, maybe like Washington. But everybody else you're going to play the rest of the season now is offensively has the potential to be terrifying. And I'm not even putting New England in that category. I'd say now Arizona, we know they're offensively difficult for you.
They look a little better today. Hopkins was making plays. They look better. Now they're playing the Jets, but still.
Everybody with the exception of like 2 teams, and one of those teams is coached by Belichick, so that's going to be a nightmare, potentially. Yeah. And Arizona's already beat you. I mean, it's just...
I saw someone tweet, is there a chance Jimmy Garoppolo's back on the Patriots next year? It's not inconceivable.
I mean, he does like to just go back and get guys that know like he becomes the new Hoyer there.
If Jimmy is available, wouldn't you be shocked if Belichick doesn't and Josh bring him back?
Yeah, I guess.
Could you trade him back to him for like a 6th?
Not with that contract.
Okay.
So the point is they're 2-3. I think there are. I don't know how you feel about this. To me, there are 5 playoff spots in the NFC. That are locked up right now, right? The NFC East, obviously, someone has to win that division. Tampa, I would say at 3-2, I feel pretty good about them, even though I think they're flawed. Seattle and LA, That's 4. Green Bay, that's 5. I would not put Chicago, to me, as lock playoff team at 4-1, even though I really like them. And I wouldn't argue if you thought they were. And just you could say 4-1 is just hard with 7 playoff spots and 3 wild cards for them. It's going to be hard for them not to be one of the wild card teams because they're better than the second team in the East and they're better than Carolina, who didn't look bad, by the way.
No, so, Carolina's 3-2, guy. They're actually playing good football.
At best,
Carolina plays Chicago this week, though. Okay. So that kind of, to me,
at best, there's 2 wild card spots available. And so the math is still doesn't. The Niners are 2-3, even though we thought this was must win. That's more about the schedule they have coming up. They're just going to have to. If they make the playoffs, it feels
like a prayer to get to 9-7. The route you got to take at 2-3,
given the schedule.
Disaster. Yeah. There's no way around it. Disastrous start for the 49ers, right?
Yep.
To lose home, they're 0-3 at home.